So how do we maximize our earning potential? Of course, our goal is to make money, take care for ourselves and our families. That's why we do business. So we're interested in how we can maximize our earning potential as an installer. So this slide is from our process video, the importance of fees. We don't want to work for free. The big box company will give us the customer, they'll give us an install, but circumstances at the home can cause us to have to do extra work, require extra parts. It's the responsibility of the homeowner to cover that cost. It's their home that needs the work. It's not our responsibility as an installer or as an install company or even the big box company's responsibility to pay for that additional work. This additional work, it adds up. It helps you make money. So the saying, no good deed goes unpunished, is true. You'll meet some people who will, well, I don't have any money, and they'll poor mouth you. Then you'll give in and you'll help them out, and these will be the first people who will call in a complaint on you. You want to keep everything on a professional level. You want to be paid for the work that you do. And remember, when it comes to accepting payment for additional work, always run it back through the appropriate channels. If you're working for Lowe's, it goes through Lowe's and IST. If you're working for Handy, it goes back through Handy. And sometimes Lowe's. And if you're working for Home Depot, of course, we would call the office, and they will use the proper channels to collect that extra payment. But these fees, they add up. They add up to making more money. Like I say, that's what we're interested in doing, is making the best living that we can. So how do the numbers add up? So we're going to look at a dishwasher. Right now at this current time, a dishwasher pays $133 plus a $20 haul away. It's $153. Now I want to add into this video that when I first started doing installs several years back, they were paying $103 plus haul away. During the last few years, the price of everything in the economy has doubled and tripled. But on installs, that has not happened. They have increased the price, but not commensurate with what we see in the rest of the economy. They're still trying to keep that price artificially low so they can tell the customer they're giving them a good deal. But that's okay, because once we gain access to the home, we have an opportunity to make more money in the way of extra fees. So looking at this example, we're at $133 plus a $20 haul away. That's $153. So as an installer, you make 30% of everything you bring in. So that means that dishwasher pays you $45.90. So if you look at it as you went to the store, you picked up this one and a couple others, and you drove to this customer's home, and you spent 35-40 minutes installing it because it was a basic, fairly simple install. If you could say you have an hour to an hour and a half invested in it, $45.90 is not really a bad pay rate. But if while you're at that home, you add a disconnect, and disconnects are in a large percentage of home. At least a third, some areas more, but depends on how many newer homes you have in the area. But even oftentimes in newer homes, the disconnect is not there. So when we add a disconnect, we're adding additional $75 to the amount of money we're making. Oftentimes we find that the flooring guy has locked the dishwasher in because he didn't remove it and put the flooring underneath of it and remove the old flooring. He just went over top of it and locked that dishwasher in. Lowe's will allow you to charge $100 for that. That adds another $30 to your payday. So if you get in there and you end up spending an hour and a half on that dishwasher, instead of the 35 to 40 minutes that you should have spent on it, you don't want to be making the same as you did for a standard install. But if you can add in these extra fees in this example, you made $98.90. And so now when we look at our time that we've spent, it remains to be good pay for what we're doing. we more than doubled our pay by collecting our extra fees. You'll come across jobs that do not have these extra fees, but keep in mind you'll be in and out of that house faster. You'll spend less time on those jobs. But when we do have to spend more time on jobs, it's appropriate that we collect more fees to make up for that time. So there are so many ways to both assist customers and make money. Why do we say that? Well, customers want their job completed. That's what they're truly interested in. And while you will meet a few people who will just, they'll make a big deal about the price of anything, and usually no matter what the price is, these individuals will make a big deal. Most customers simply want the job done, and they're willing to pay, especially if you can explain the charges in a reasonable manner. They're willing to pay, and they're happy with you if you can get the job completed to their satisfaction. That's what taking care of customers is all about. They don't want you to come back and do it another day. They don't want there to be an argument with price that delays the job. They just want their job completed. So part of completing jobs is making sure our van is stocked with supplies so that we can get the jobs done. We cut out those trips to the store. Time is money. Return trips to complete jobs. All of those, not only do they cost you money, but they also make for unhappy customers. But when we use items from our van, we need to pass that cost to the customers. We don't want to absorb that cost or think the company should absorb that cost, or Lowe's should absorb that cost, or Home Depot, because that's not correct. The homeowner's responsibility for the costs involved in their install. So we want to try to complete those jobs in the first trip so that we can make the most money on payday. Charging for that extra work, those parts, it's more money for you. More fees means more bonus. If you love a bonus, and I do, you just add those fees and it adds 30% to your numbers. So our example here, if you do 110 jobs, or let's say times an average of $133, that's $14,630. This would result in you being $130 over your sales goal, a bonus that we see down in red of $39. But if you tack fees under 30% of that job, notice it changes the number to $18,260. And then that gives us a bonus of $1,128. So adding fees to just 30% of jobs increased your bonus by over $1,000. So that's how fees help us to make more money. We're going to compare two installers, actual installers, real numbers, December 2022. So we're just going to call installer, and keep in mind both of these installers are good installers, and they both install in basically the same area. So installer one, his monthly total was $15,417.77. So he made it well past his goal of $14,500. He collected one PR for the month. So one job out of his jobs he added extra money to. He spent $197 on the account, left him with a total of $15,220.77. So he was $720 over the sales goal of $14,500. This resulted in this installer making a bonus of $216.24. And any bonus is a good bonus. But could he have made more? Yes, if he had added more PRs, if he had added more extra fees to his jobs for that month. Let's look at another installer, and we're going to call this one installer 2. His monthly total for December 2022 was $19,295.28. Installer 2 collected 37 PRs, or 37 extra fees for the month. Now, installer 2 spent a little bit more money on the account, which is commensurate, because if he was doing more extra work, he probably had to buy some more extra parts. But when we take that away from his total, he still ended up being $4,347.28 over the sales goal of $14,500. So installer 2 made a bonus of $1,304. And so even though he spent a little more money in the account, he spent it wisely. He added the extra fees for the extra work, and he made more than $1,000 over what installer 1 did. So this is a perfect real-life example of how this works. And like I said, both of these installers are skilled installers. It's just that one is not calling in and getting the fees for his extra work, and the other one is. So we see how that truly adds to our numbers. So how does it all add up? Installer 1 per year, he's going to end up at $54,592. If he keeps those numbers the same, that will be his yearly salary. Installer 2, he will make $67,648 per year, more than $13,000 more than installer 1. So how do we get these extra fees? When we're out working in the field, we have to call from the job. After having a discussion and an approval from the homeowner, here are the numbers that we call for Lowe's, for Handy, for Home Depot. With Lowe's, we're calling IST, and we want to remember that calling these numbers can take a minute. With Lowe's and Handy, you don't want to tell them that you've already done the work or started the work. However, you may want to go ahead and get started on the job. Just simply don't let them know that. Let them think that you're waiting on them for approval. With Home Depot, it's very simple. We can call the office, and then one of our office staff will collect that extra money directly from the customer over the phone through the Home Depot system. But you must call from the job. You can't call the next day. You can't have someone from the office call for you. You have to call from the job. You got to have that discussion with the homeowner. So save these numbers in your phone, and definitely brush up on your customer skills, and be ready to maximize your earning potential by collecting extra fees.